For this edition, we're talking to Jonathon Davison, the CEO and Chairman of the British Business Group Dubai and Northern Emirates. Jonathon, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
A very key year, 25 years of the existence of the group. So, in the early days, what was it like?
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, I wasn't around for the very early days,
sure.
but almost 25 years ago, 24 and a half years ago, because our Jubilee year starts in October, Charles Neal and various others as then employees of Lloyds Bank, being a British bank which came to the region very early on. They came up with the idea in the Trade Centre, and of course in those days the Trade Centre was an eminent building and there wasn't much around. So it was conceptualised in one of the eateries, shall we say, in the Trade Centre, and it grew then on in. And 25 years later we have over 2,000 corporate members, and we have events, 4 or 5 active events a month.
We want to look at the present business climate, but a bit of heritage and the key points along those ways. You say over 2,000 members nowadays. How did the development of the group evolve?
The group was very much a business-to-business group and continues to be so. More recently, over the last 5 years, we've had much more interaction with UK government, UKTI and the British Embassy. I mean, here we are in our own offices within the British Embassy compound. So therefore, our links with the Embassy and the Ambassador and the Consul General are very strong. Historically, what we have done is we've provided networking opportunities for British businesses coming into the UAE, and our membership really rested around the sort of 400 or 500 mark, probably until about 5 or 6 years ago. It coincided with the initial, if you like, the prospecting of inward investment into the UAE 2000 to 2002, and then the BBG changed its suit, if you like, and became a much larger and more active organisation.
So you mentioned a few things, what you actually do. What does it, if we sort of describe a mission statement, what would that be?
The we do have a mission statement. I won't go completely on message now, but the BBG is an organisation that allows its members to prospect as between themselves for business. We provide incoming dignitaries, VIPs, from the UK and other parts of the world. We've had people speak to us, such as Issa Al Gurg, who is one of the most prominent UAE ambassadors to the UK, Peter Mandelson, and Sir Digby Jones, and all sorts of, if you like, political celebrities such as that, who come and give us a very prominent message. And we'll regularly have sort of between 200 and 250 people attend one of our events.
So those key events are attracting, as you say, some big names. But for a person who's setting up or has a small business here in Dubai, the Northern Emirates, what can you offer?
Well, interesting enough, we have monthly get-togethers called onboarders, and one of the biggest attractions for newcomers and new businesses is to get to meet like minds and get to meet people who can tell them the story, perhaps a year ahead of them in their evolution, and can tell them the stories of how to do things, how to get through red tape, how to create an effective business model. So in the first instance, we allow new members in the BBG to interact with current and existing members, and they develop their relationships that way.
I can see here some big names, global names, who are associates of the business group, but also some smaller ones which have perhaps evolved here. I can see one there, the big bus tour. Okay, they're from outside, but they've grown significantly here in Dubai. So you've probably been witness to quite a few companies evolving substantially.
Absolutely. I mean, our profile is relatively high now, and equally, if people come to us and ask about how to conduct themselves, how to grow businesses, we will plug them into the UKTI and the corporate people at the embassy. And also the embassy will direct people to us, because we have people who've been on the ground for 10, 12, 15 years who can give a very persuasive stories to new business people coming in and guide them.
And are you able to assist with the formalities, the so-called red tape?
We do at a fairly holistic level. Obviously, what we can do is put our new members in touch with people who've done this for many years, and that allows them to soften the landing. Whereas if it wasn't for us, they would simply be thumbing through the yellow pages.
Yeah, sure. If we look at now perhaps the profiles of the various sort of sectors of industry and business, What would be perhaps the most prominent of that?
Well, coming out of the credit crunch, as we might call it, it's called a number of things. The most prominent sectors that are actively involved in the BBG are the digital media sectors, retail, professional services, leisure, and that type of thing. The manufacturing and construction industries now aren't as prevalent. They occupied probably 40–50% of the BBG's time during the boom, and now people are moving very much into SME sectors, concentrating on the digital age. So we have our number of members are increasing quite rapidly. The profile of the membership is changing. Smaller, more innovative companies.
So would you say that's reflecting what's happening in other parts of the world now, in UK and also Europe, perhaps?
Well, we do have many people coming in from the UK, and it's not just British businesses. It's any organisation that has connections with the UK, whether they trade with the UK, whether they have British employees. So really, we have a wide variety of members, and in that respect, we're also managing to connect people culturally.
Let's move on now, and the impact of, you call it the credit crunch, various different names. When times were tough, and it does seem that things are moving in the right direction at the moment, did you see an uptake in people coming to you for assistance and sort of business connections?
Absolutely, we did. Our new membership were very much looking to us to connect them. Now, what I found personally as the incoming chairman at that time was that existing members were very busy, if you like, tending their own flock. They were looking after their own business environment. If it was a case of restructuring internally, they were very much either trying to keep hold of their job, find a new job, and they were really very busy. And the interaction, the day-to-day interaction with the social events, the networking events, it did drop off, probably for a 15 to 18 month period. What we're finding now is it's coming back absolutely at a rate of knots. The engagement with the events that we have now, it's never been higher.
As you mentioned, you're located here by the side of the British Embassy within the grounds. What real interactions do you have with them in terms of developing business, trade, bilateral trade, for example? Yeah.
We're active in all of the British Embassy's incentives here. The UKTI send trade missions back to the UK once or twice a year. We very much have engagement with that. We have incoming trade missions into the UAE. The Embassy tends to host them and tends to invite us to bring like-minded business people along, because the incoming businesses looking to develop markets in the region, they do usually start off in the UAE and Dubai.
Well, thanks very much for an overview of what the British Business Group Dubai and Northern Emirates does. And I'll leave you with one question. For businesses established or setting up here in Dubai, what sort of one message would you put out to them?
Patience.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for your time and patience as well.
Thank you very much.